All right, you guys pack everything up, get everything set up on the saddlebags, and mount your horses, and you kick off towards the south. About 25, 30 minutes goes before eventually you've cleared the trees completely. And as you look off for the first time towards the west, which is to your right, you don't actually see trees, and you can see land far as the eye can see until eventually you notice some of the mountains that separate this area from the area to the west, the Misty Mountains. Um, and it's just nice being able to see the sky to the west. But you do see the looming dark storm clouds ahead, the cracks of thunder coming every couple minutes, and eventually unable to see much further than the edge of the storm clouds, as there is this almost wall of white getting closer and closer and closer. About 45 minutes after you first embark, you start to see the brown, tan, yellows of the ground being very lightly covered with bits of white. There's a crunch under each galloping as the horses are now stepping onto areas of grass that frost had taken over throughout the night from the sheer cold weather that came in ahead of the snowstorm. And about an hour after you guys disembark from the Mirkwood, uh, you finally start to encounter flurries, little bits of snow that are slamming into your faces as you're pushing these horses as hard as you can to try and get into the storm and then out of the storm as fast as possible. At around the 2 hour mark, I need uh, three of you to make a Constitution saving throw for your horses. So Edgerhell will roll for Alagos, and then I need two of you to roll for the other two horses. Roll a d20 and add 3.
I'll do it for my horse. Yeah.
All right. So
17.
Nebuchadnezzar, what'd you get, Edgerhell?
17.
Okay, that's a success. Who's going
And
to roll?
I also got a 17 as well.
All right, that's a success.
Guess I'll roll for the other ones.
All right, Eldikar.
2 plus 3, 5.
5. All right, that's a failure.
That's a failure. Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah, with that.
If only you had rolled a 1, that would have actually been really nice.
Does Wolf need to do anything, or is he?
The wolf is okay for now. Because the wolf has a higher dexterity, con, and strength modifier than the horses. He will need to roll during the next check, but not during the first one. So the good thing is that the first point of exhaustion doesn't have your speed. It just gives the horse disadvantage on ability checks. And thankfully, a con save is not an ability check. So the first point is okay. But a couple hours in, you do notice Eldikar, the horse that you're on, is huffing and whinnying a little bit more than you would like. But the ground is freezing underneath. The speed at which you're going, the flakes of snow are slamming into any bits of your face or other exposed skin at quite the speed. It's definitely brings to life why people refer to it as a biting wind, as the coldness overtakes you. Eventually, on the 3rd hour, you guys are deep enough into the storm that It's almost like a blizzard. There's lightning crackling around you. None of it really seems to be cloud to ground. It's all mostly just in the air above you. Despite the sheer amount of just white powder that's coming down from the sky, it's relatively dark as the clouds that form this thick barrier between yourselves and the sun, blocking out the light. It's cold, freezing, chilling temperatures that just ache every time you kind of shift in a way you haven't in a little bit, and your armor kind of shifts and touches your skin. It's this freezing cold temperature that you weren't kind of expecting. You try to, as much as you can on top of these horses that are galloping, remain as still as possible to avoid shifting inside of your armor and getting a cold chill all over again. Eventually you get to the 4-hour mark, and I'm going to need all of you to make another check again. So Eldakar, Nebuchadnezzar, and Edrahel roll for your horses, and for the first time, Torin can roll for his wolf.
I got a 13.
All right. The DCs are increasing, but a 13 is still a success. It started at a 10. It's now a 12.
19.
All right. That's a success.
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
Eldakar.
I got a 1, so I get to re-roll.
Oh, boy.
Oh, crap.
All right. What do you get for the wolf while he runs?
He got 16.
All right. That's a success. He's good for now.
Okay.
I believe in you.
There we go. 14.
14. That's a success. All right. So at the 4-hour mark, you guys are able to kind of keep the horses going, keep them hoofing along. It continues to be cold and biting. Eventually, let's see, Torin, you're kind of leading the charge because you're most familiar with the path you guys are taking. So do me a favor and make a perception check. I will say, because of the weather conditions and because of the speed at which you guys are going, it will be a disadvantage.
Okay. Does Wolf help me with that?
Does he have any advantage on sight-based checks?
Just hearing and seeing.
Yeah, this will be
Or just hearing and smell. Okay.
Yeah, this will be
So
sight-based.
disadvantage. All right. Perception. I got 11.
An 11. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Well, that D20 is gone. I've got another one. What is that? Oh, okay, it was upside down. That's weird. I got these, they're kind of like weird. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera very well or not. Probably not. I'll take a picture and send it to you guys later. Anyway, that is the kind of quality content that our viewers tune in for.
Right.
All right, so let's see. That is, okay, not too bad. With an 11, the ground at this point in the journey, 4 hours in, has been covered with snow. There's not really any grass that pokes above. There is occasionally a small bush or dried out, dehydrated, sort of emaciated twig that's kind of sticking out like it used to at some point maybe be some sort of flowering plant life of some kind, but instead is just dried and dead. There's a few of those that kind of dot the landscape, but for the most part, it's just white, and you can't even see that far. And so there's this depth problem where you can't really tell how far away things are, and seeing if there's a shift in the way that the ground is kind of hard to see. Your wolf, on the other hand, is kind of keeping pace with you guys and a little bit, even maybe a few feet ahead of you. Just to kind of keep its eyes and ears and nose out for anything that it can find. And suddenly, the wolf is a little bit ahead of you guys, and it just disappears out of sight. At which point, you realize, oh boy, something's coming right there. And you kind of all like pull back on your horses. About 4 or 5 seconds. That was really good.
Sound effects. This is why people tune in.
You guys all you all pull back to get your horses to come to a stop as quickly as possible. And a couple seconds pass, and your wolf comes back into view as it climbs up, having tumbled down a small hill into an old dried out ravine. Thankfully, not one that was full of water. He doesn't come up soaked in freezing temperatures. His mat is completely covered in snow, though, and you can barely make out the huff of steam that comes out of his muzzle as he kind of paws his way back up the hill, and he kind of looks at you like you can tell a little embarrassed, as he just didn't see it coming and just tumbled down the hill, but immediately ran back up it as soon as it came to a stop.
It's okay, boy. It's okay. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. It's fine. It's fine.
You guys, having gotten a little bit of a warning, maybe not the kind of warning you would have wanted, are able to very delicately traverse the slanted ground of this sort of ravine that kind of goes down. And so you guys are able to take an extra minute, a little bit slower, go down into the ravine where it's a more flat ground, and continue on for another hour or so until we get to the 6-hour mark. Snowstorm is still raging. Go ahead and make another round of Constitution saving throws. DC is a little bit higher.
Ooh.
Eight.
I got a 9.
Okay,
18.
that's a success.
Does Wolf need to, or is he good?
No, not this one. No, every other one. So we'll good this time.
What you got there, Brian? Looking at your dice, like something happened.
How do you know the difference between a 9 and a 6 again?
There's
should
usually
be
a
a-
dot or a
Usually there's
line
like a dot or something.
on the
If the
bottom.
line is above the curve point.
The line will be
Or
at the
6.
bottom. So if it's above the curve, that means it's upside down. So turn
You
it.
got a 9 as well, my friend.
Yeah, it should be.
We're living the 9 game. We got 6s and you add 3 to it.
My dice has the line on both. It either has the line on the top or the line on the bottom.
Yeah, the line is on the bottom. So if you see the line at the top, you need to turn your die around so it's on the bottom.
This is a
Okay.
this is a 6.
Upside down.
So then it's a 9.
It's
Yeah.
blurry.
So if the line's
Yeah, I
in the
know.
curved part that's incomplete, that means that it's a 9 because that line needs to be on the bottom of when you're looking at it.
I know how to dice. It's okay.
So it's a 6?
No, so it's a 9. It's 9.
But then he adds 3 to it.
I like the way that you save it.
Do you know how 9s look, Hannah, where the curved part's at the bottom?
What?
You were saying that the line was above the curved part. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, which means that it's actually below the curved part because he needs to turn the die around. Because
Which
the
would
line
make it a 6.
Okay,
would
either
make
way,
it
I
9.
think
The curved part's on the bottom.
I think that he failed the test no matter which one.
It's not above the
Either
circle.
he has
it's
a
above the
9 or
curved
a
Okay,
12.
you and I
Either one
we're doing
fits.
okay, I get what you mean. We're using
See,
different labels.
that's-
for-
That's
Well,
what I
yeah,
meant.
there's a circle and then there's a curve. Like there's the
Edit
circle,
this part later.
and then the
Gabe.
curve that comes down.
quality content that our viewers.
That's an actually really good save. It's like, oh well, what number is it? Is it like the line is above the circle or it's below the curved
Oh
line?
gosh, she's bringing.
That's a G.
Well, that's a
Oh, but that's what I mean.
on
That's
top
what
of
I
a
mean. It's a good
potato.
save.
It's a G on top of a potato, bro.
Oh, we're done. All right. So
We have a suspenseful scene here, everybody. We're all falling off our horses.
We all have exhaustion points in real life.
Oh boy. Eldakar, your horse does take a second point of exhaustion, which is going to slow the speed of the horse down. Nebuchadnezzar, your horse took its first point. They're still okay. Alagos is still trekking along just fine, as is Torrens Wolf. So you guys are able to kind of keep in pace with Eldakar's horse. It's basically moving at a normal speed now. It's not able to push to a fast speed. But you guys are still trekking along, hoping to get out of the storm sooner rather than later.
If that's
On the-
if that's if that's the case, we don't have to do any more Constitution saving throws, correct?
So what I was about to say is what that does mean, because you guys are going a little bit slower, is the last con save you guys will have to make for the end of the day. The DC will drop down a little bit because you guys won't be moving as fast as you have been. So you'll have to make another save because you've been pushing the horses for 8 hours at that point. But the DC won't increase again. It'll actually go down slightly. However, at about the 7.5 hour mark, you do notice you guys have been trudging through this storm all day at this point. You're freezing cold. You stopped probably, I would say, briefly at some point to have a small snack, but got back moving as quickly as possible to try and keep your warmth up and keep everything kind of loose and preventing injury. However, at about the 7 to 7.5 hour mark, for the first time, you can actually see more than like 20 feet in front of you. Eventually, you can see a little bit further and a little bit further, and it's still snowing, but it no longer feels like the snow is moving sideways, but that it's actually just drifting down, and you feel like you're coming up on the edge of the storm. With that in mind, you guys give your horses a little bit more of a break and you slow down a little bit more. The temperature isn't really going up by any means, but you do feel like you're coming up on the edge of the storm, or at least to a weaker section of the storm. It fills you with a little bit more hope and determination. Go ahead and make one last round of Constitution saving throws, everybody, including the wolf on this one.
Oh, 6.
Okay.
This is a saving throw?
Yes,
Are you,
Constitution saving throw.
are you rolling with advantage, Shedriel?
Oh,
Because
I didn't.
Yeah, go ahead and roll with advantage. Yep.
Phew.
You've had advantage this whole time.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't failed until now, so it didn't really matter, I guess.
7.
Oh, no.
I got a nat 20 for mine, so
Okay. Eldakar, you got an 8.
good to go.
All right. What'd the wolf get?
You got a 4.
A 4. Okay. So Eldakar, your horse has now a 3rd point of exhaustion, which gives a disadvantage on attacks and saving throws. Thankfully, this is the last check of the day, which means as long as you guys get a long rest tonight, he'll recover 1 point of exhaustion and will not have disadvantage on any checks tomorrow for saving throws. But as of right now, if you guys were to keep pushing, you would have disadvantage on his next Constitution save. Okay, so I believe that's 3 for Eldakar, 1 for Nebuchadnezzar, Alagos, and the wolf each, I think. The rest of you guys have been pretty lucky on your rolls. At around the 8 hour mark, as you guys are starting to sense the just general tiredness of the horses, and also not all of you have spent a lot of time riding horses in overland travel over several days at this speed. It's actually exhausting to ride a horse at speed for an extended period of time, especially when you're not used to it. It's exhausting for trained soldiers to do it, to try and maintain your balance and posture and everything else for 8 hours. Even in flat land, you're in the middle of a snowstorm, so you guys feel exhausted. And it's probably at this point, because you guys left early and didn't even finish a long rest, remember everyone personally, you all have a point of exhaustion except for Nebuchadnezzar, so make sure you mark that. It's only like 3 in the afternoon, because you guys left at probably 4 in the morning, and you only stopped for lunch. So actually, it's probably closer to 2 in the afternoon. When you guys start to slow down and kind of go at a moseying pace for a little while, catch your breath. Eventually, you get to a point where the blizzard turned into a flurry has turned into just a slowly more scenic drifting of snow from the sky down to the earth. You've actually reached a point where the snow in this area never was coming down quite as hard as other areas, and you can actually see a little bit of grass that is peeking up above the snow. You've definitely gotten towards the edge of the storm. You've ridden through the worst of it, and you see up ahead, maybe 200 or 300 yards, still very much in the shadow of the storm, and with a little bit of snow coming down again, a light drifting of snow. There is an almost out of place large boulder that is jutting out of the ground, a few smaller rocks scattered in the ground around it, each of them with a very thin blanket of white snow. But you see, because of the shadow being cast by this storm, you do see a faint flicker of campfire light up against the boulder. It appears to be coming from the other side. You can't actually see a campfire. You can't see any horses or anybody from your current vantage point, but you do see the sort of rhythmic flashing of the orange firelight being cast onto the boulder.
Torn says to the group, it would be nice to have a place to rest for a bit, but we're not sure if that campfire, what it looks like, might be friend or foe there. So I suggest maybe we stealth and sneak up.
Volunteer.
Go too.
I can
I can
still
talk to them if they seem kind of okay, cool, whatever. I mean, whatever.
I'll go, whatever gets me off this horse, I got the chafes. I'm chafing real bad. And I gotta stretch me legs out. My thighs, they're like rub raw at this point. But too much information.
Well, why don't we just have two of us, just so that it's a little stealthier, and then
I'll go. I'm stealthy.
Well, I mean, you can still like stretch your legs and stuff. You just have to get off the horse and walk around a little bit. I mean, just keep your distance, and then we can call you over. Kind of like how we met Eldikar, you know? So, I mean, it's just, you know, we don't
I've got
know.
a bad plan. We run up with our horses, two on one side, one on the other side, war cry. And if they're friends, we'll give them a little spook and we'll laugh it all off. And if they're foes, we'll give them a spook and he pats down his big old hammer, give him the good old need jabroni.
Well,
Those are great options, Shad. I think Eldikar.
Okay, I'm going forward then. And I just go full tilt. I don't know who's on the back of my horse, but I'm going forward.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like.
I'm gonna tackle him. So what do I need?
I'm on the horse. You're
He's
gonna
on a horse. Are you going to ride up
You're
on
on the
your
horse.
horse and try and tackle him off the horse? I'm okay with it if you want to try it. Like, you do you. What would Edgerhell do in this situation?
How far are we from the fire?
A few hundred yards.
can we throw a rock at him?
You guys are on the horse. You gotta find a rock or something. You might be able to find like a.
He is. I would say galloping ahead, but his horse is tired and really not into the mood to gallop. But it's trotting in front of you.
And I think I imagine I probably Dala on the back of my horse because
Oh gosh.
yeah.
Tala's like, I didn't sign up for this.
She might be in support of it. She might be in support of it.
True.
All right, I get on Alagos and I go right next to.
That means I'm on Alagos as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tor's just shaking his head.
I'm new here. Y'all figure this out.
Y'all jumped ahead pretty quick. One thing I was going to have you guys do before you did this was because of the nature of the storm, the fell voice that was within it, and the fact that it's spring out of Mordor, I do need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw to avoid gaining a point of shadow.
Cool.
Are these corruption saving throws or just wisdom?
That's what it is. Yes, it's a corruption save.
Okay, so advantage.
I got a 16.
All right.
You said
Am
wisdom.
I corrupted?
Yeah, it's a wisdom save is the corruption save.
Unnatural 20.
16.
All right.
Oren got a 7.
7.
Corrupted.
And Eldikar got what?
Thanks.
You need a better D20, man.
Are
It's
you
not
sure
doing well for you
mine?
today. All right, so Eldikar and Torn, the two of you each take 1 point of shadow. I'll roll for Dala real quick. Natural 18. I don't remember what her wisdom mod is, but that is a success. So you guys both take a point of shadow. It's not overly oppressive, but occasionally when the storm would get quiet for a moment, you would hear that sort of dark speech booming through the storm, and it would just send a chill up your spine. A very unnatural, shadow-filled, oppressive chill.
Can Torn tell anything more about it? Like, does he know like who was speaking, where it came from, anything like
Make a
that?
shadow lore check.
Sure.
Shadow lore.
21.
21. You're not sure who was speaking. Either you haven't heard the voice before, or in the tongue that it's speaking, it distorts the voice to sort of intonation that you're not familiar with. You do recognize this as the black speech of Mordor, that there is that sort of oppressive nature to it, that it is a very old, vile language that carries a dark power inside, but you're not sure who could be relaying the voice itself. All right. Now, Nebuchadnezzar, Edgar, Haley, and Dala.
Dala and I are unwilling participants.
Amen. So I'm gonna go right, and I'm just gonna point to you, Elder, to like go left.
Okay.
And then I go, stay frosty, and I kind of laugh a little bit and I speed up.
All right. So Nebuchadnezzar and Edgar make stealth checks.
Okay.
Edgar, you have a caution, so make yours with disadvantage.
I have a point of yes, I do.
I got an 18.
What?
I can be sneaky if I need to be sneaky, you know.
He can be sneaky when it's not nighttime in the middle of a forest. He can be sneaky in the middle of a bright snowstorm. Who'd have thought?
Hey, I think we all have our strengths, you know.
Infinity.
Trinity.
What is this
Yeah.
infinity you're getting?
It's an 8 on the side.
Oh,
All right,
man.
I'm actually going to
Actually, well,
try and foil their plan
okay.
while they're riding up and say,
13, got it.
"Hey, Chad, come back! You forgot something." Like just kind of as sort of a verbal heads up to whoever's on the other side of the border or the boulder.
Wow.
I ignore her request because I
She
never
didn't.
turn my back on the enemy. So I'm already on the way to rock. I'm not going to turn around.
All right. So are you guys just going around the rock and seeing what's there?
So
Are you
I'm going to
waiting?
go around the right side. I'm going to hope that Gabe will go
Yeah.
around the left side, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he is or not. And then as we round the corner, depending on what I see, I may yell out with a giant loud roar cry. "Rah!" But I'm going to hold that off until I get a quick glance of what I see. If it looks like orcs, then I'm going to yell really loud. If it looks like friends, I'll go, "How are you doing?"
How are you doing?
All right. Make a perception check.
Okay. All right.
Gabe, are you going around the left side?
I'm going around the left side. I'm just trying for him not to get killed.
All right. Make a perception check as
You
well.
don't need to worry about that, bro. I got 11. 11 is what I got.
Noted.
23.
23. For a total of...
What do you mean for
Wait.
total?
No, never mind. Sorry. That's with disadvantage, right?
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I got, wait, no. 10.
Oh, I'm more perceptive than you right now, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brows
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
You guys, have you guys seen signs? You both come around the boulder like Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson and almost run into each other on the other side of the boulder. You see the campfire there. You see a cooking pot on the fire with a little bit of stew left over with a ladle inside of it. You see a couple cots that have kind of been hastily set up in this area. And the fire is currently raging, but a cursory glance around, you don't see anybody.
I'll go, I think they're out here. Check behind those smaller rocks. I'm gonna dismount here.
Check behind.
And I sling my leg over and land on the ground. I'm like, oh, the chafing. And I pull out my warhammer and I start to prowl around the camp. Obviously, cowboy style because of the chafing.
Cowboy style.
Had to make it really clear that you're chafing.
Thank you.
Does Torn hear what's going on? Like, because they went behind the rock.
If you approached with them, I would say yes, but you guys were probably 200 or 300 yards away, so they're pretty far away.
So I'm gonna
Did
walk
they tell
through the
us
camp.
It's okay to come.
Okay. It's a small, completely empty camp as far as you can see.
So I look
Did
at
they tell-
I look at the cots and I see if there's any snow on the cots and how much snow there is.
A very faint amount of snow, if any. It definitely looks like someone was here within the last couple minutes.
Yeah. So that's why I do the two fingers and I point to the other rocks that are nearby, and I kind of do that for Edrahel and for Dala to check on them. While I kind of stay out in the open next, like the stew. I kind of poke the stew with the top of my warhammer. Bink, bink, bink.
Does it smell like anything in particular? That's true. Can I? Do I know that?
It's got a fishy aroma. It's not in like a rotted way, but it smells like it was some sort of fish-based stew.
You know, because we're just, yeah, that's fish. I'm like, what are you doing?
You gotta waft it.
Are you going to check those other rocks, or are you just gonna completely ignore my instructions there?
I am ignoring you.
Okay.
Does it look like there's any space at this current boulder that could be a hiding spot for someone as small as me?
Make an investigation check. Also, around this point, Torin, make a perception check for me.
Just me, not eat it by wolf.
Not your wolf, no.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you get?
I got a 22.
22. Okay, and you got an 8. Does not appear to be any small nook or cranny that you can see. Sadly, we're not in person, Derek, so I can't whisper to you, but I'm going to send you a message.
So,
All right.
does Dala go to check out those other smaller rocks that are nearby? Because there's anyone crouched behind them. Like, am I just like doing like the double-handed, like, you know, this way, that way, and no one's like moving? You're just sniffing stew.
But stew. Moran.
They're probably either on top of the boulder right now, looking down at us, laying prone. In that case, then Torin can probably see them. Or they're behind those other rocks, but they're not back here. But I say, if I move from this spot, then they won't jump me, and I want them to jump me.
Can we see any like steps on the snow besides ours that we can follow?
There's a lot, but it's really hard to try and track anything. You can try and make a survival check, but you guys came bursting around in your horses and then jumped off of your horses, and you definitely muddled up a lot of the footprints in this area pretty quickly.
I just say aloud, I'm like, you know, if you somehow like dove into the snow, that would be like super impressive. We're not trying to do anything crazy. I mean, this guy maybe, but we'll keep him from like hurting you as long as you don't hurt us. We just like haven't really seen anybody out here in a while, and so we were curious. Sorry to spook you. Just hopeful that goes off into the ether and someone hears me.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
At disadvantage?
You're exhausted, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I
Well,
forgot
I have a
to,
+7, so 17.
Wow.
I haven't gotten your message yet, John. For some reason, I forgot to roll at disadvantage.
Okay.
I'm still good.
Okay, I sent you a text.
Yep.
You didn't get it? Okay.
So
I just got it. Hold on, give me.
Okay, cool.
You guys talk amongst yourselves.
I speak very quietly to Haley. I'll go, play them a little tune. If they're good, maybe they'll sing along.
All right. Torin shouts, two people up top on the border, on the boulder, and he grabs his bow, knocks an arrow, aims towards them, and says, "Come out. We don't want to hurt anyone."
Okay.
What happened with the persuasion thing that Haley rolled?
They might have responded to it. She rolled pretty well. But right around the time Haley finished her little plea, you hear Torin yell out, "Two people on top of the boulder! Come down!"
So then I take my two fingers and I point at the top of the and I go, someone has to listen now.
Torin just shakes his head and he's like, "Eldakar, is he always like this?"
At which point you see two human-looking figures that had at some point very quickly scrambled to the top of the boulder when they heard the horses coming, and were trying to lie as flat as possible and stay hidden up there.
I'll do it.
They crawl forwards a little bit, and they kind of slide down. The boulder's about 12 feet tall. They sort of slide down the edge as much as possible, trying to hold their grip so they don't fall. The first one rolled a 1, and the second one rolled a natural 20. Oh my gosh, there's other numbers on this die.
So one's got to like fit.
Yeah. All right. So
One's just like,
they're both like kind of like slowly sliding down. Then one of them reaches for a handhold that's just completely iced over. And they just slip and they fall like the last 7 feet and hit the ground, and there's a of white powdery snow that just kind of goes up and settles on their face, and they brush the snow off as the other one just kind of drops from right there and just lands steadily on their feet. They both stand up. The one that landed gracefully kind of reaches down and helps the other one up off the ground. They both look over at you. You see before you two average heights, just under 6 feet tall, humanoids, both of them with long braided brown hair, both of them clean shaven, no beard of any kind, no mustache of any kind. They're wearing decent clothing. It's not overly fine or cheap. Instead, it just looks very practical and meant for the weather that they're in. They don't appear to be immediately untrustworthy based on what you can see about them, or immediately trustworthy. They just look very plain, definitely dressed for the weather and whatever traveling they might be doing. One of them looks at you and he goes, he appears to be a little bit older than the other one, but they both look in their 30s probably. One just a little bit older. He goes, "Look, I'm sorry. We don't mean any harm or anything. You guys approached us a little intensely. We were just trying to protect ourselves. Please, sir, just you can point your arrow somewhere else. I would appreciate it. We just we mean no harm. We're just camping in this area."
Does he? Oh, sorry.
I nod at Torin like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right, so I'll kind of lower my bow and kind of just have it hanging down, but not threatening them or anything. Do they have any weapons or anything?
When you lower the arrow, the first guy goes, "Much appreciated. Hate to have to use this," and he moves his hand out from his side, and you notice he's got a pair of throwing daggers that were placed between a couple of his fingers, ready to fling out in a moment's notice, that he puts into a sheath that he has built into the sleeve of his leather coat. and he puts them away. The younger one didn't appear to have any weapons drawn, but you do see a short sword strapped to his side.
Sorry about that. We it's been a really long day trying to get out of this storm, and we just were surprised to see a camp. And some of us got a little more excited than others, decided to run forward, and not always the best way to say hello, but hope we didn't scare you too bad. I'm Haley.
You're an interesting ragtag group of people. You got a human, a hobbit, and a dwarf, and an elf. It's more diversity than I've seen ever. You're an interesting group. My name's Ingvar. This is Odell. We're from the Dale up north, just outside of the Lonely Mountain.
Oi, I'm from the Lonely Mountain. Maybe we've seen each other. Ever heard of the Silver Dunes before? Make some gem and crusted blades, shields, helmets.
I have actually. My family owns a shop that we actually get some supply from that family. You know the Silver Dunes.
Oi, I'm the Nebuchadnezzar Silver Dune.
Ah,
Son, lofty air.
little
But-
Nebby.
Yep, little Chad. Call me Chad.
Chad.
Yeah,
Well met, Chad. And he offers you his hand and his forearm.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll go. As you see, I'm trying out a like new style. I brush my hand through my frosty flower encrusted beard.
Ferocious. Intimidating
Boy.
to your enemies, I'm sure.
It's called. You have to let their guard down. First, you come with a smile,
Mm.
and then you get him with a hammer. But not like I'm gonna get you with a hammer,
Yeah.
unless
yeah,
if you pull
that
off a
would be
move.
good.
Then I will get you with a hammer.
What brings Silver Dune this far south?
Looking for the Silver Hand. They're a secret society. No one really knows about them. We don't want to spill all the beans, but we're trying to find them because they're a secret society. You've heard about this?
Don't tell Chad secrets.
I'm sorry.
Duly noted.
I'm sorry, friend, but I've not heard of the Silver Hand. That
It's
doesn't appear to be part of my repertoire, secret societies and such. Sorry.
Well, I guess that's
In-
why it's called a secret society.
Insight check. Insights check to see if it is part of his repertoire.
Oh gosh.
Negative.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, Chad, do it. You
a
don't have
9.
actually.
A 9.
yeah.
Hard to read. Ingvar. Hard to
Mm,
read.
I don't know if I. Okay, well, here's what I say. I say, well, that's enough about us. We're just trying to figure out what you're doing out here in the middle of a storm.
I mean, it's a light dusting. We're just kind of making up camp, trying to weather it out at the moment. That's why we have a fire going.
But where
You
was
trying
you
to tell
off?
me that you've been riding in the storm?
Yeah, from up north,
no.
we were closer to
Well, that's
where it was
gutsy.
more intense.
Gotcha. Well, it hasn't been too bad in this part, so hopefully you guys made it through the worst of it.
So you never
That was
said
the
where you
idea.
were off to.
Where we were off to? Well, where are you off to?
I just said that.
Yeah, but what direction is that? I don't know.
Oh, I look at Ed Rahel. I guess just that way. I just point a I think I just put the direction I'm going.
You point south. Fair enough. Okay. All right. I like it. Yeah. So, well, like I said, we're from the Dale, up outside the Lonely Mountain area. My family owns a shop there, a decent, modest family business. We do some smithing work, but we're more of merchants these days than the actual laborers that build the materials. So we tend to outsource a lot of things. That's why we get some stock from the Silver Dune family, high quality goods there. We also have managed to strike a deal with some of the elves in Lorien out to the west, where we get some various supplies, some standard gear, ropes, and satchels and bags and such. But they also have a very fine fletching community in Lorien, and we tend to get a rather large shipment. The shipment's a little bit late, so we ventured out to Lorien to try and figure out why we did, and we got that sorted. And now we're actually heading out east. There's a rather large sea to the east, and well, there's some valuable items that we've acquired over the years from the bottom of that area. Some ships that sunk in the last Great War, carrying a lot of treasure. So occasionally we head out there and try and acquire some of that, clean it up, and sell it in our shop as well. So that's the final leg of our journey. We've been away from home for about 6 months, but we got to stop off in the Sea of Rune and then head back north up to the Dale.
Well, we would love to stay and eat some stew.
He's
And that's it. Yeah, I mean, I would love to stay eat some stew.
You're welcome to stay. I'm afraid that we've already eaten our portion. I don't think we have enough for all of you, but we could definitely put another pot on if you guys have some of the actual utensils and such. We're traveling kind of light right now because it's just the two of us. So if you happen to have another pot, maybe some utensils, we can get another stew going for sure.
So I don't know about you lot. I could use it. But I don't want to waste the days of the rest of the day sitting out here around the campfire telling stories. They seem like a good lot. I ain't got much else to say to them, so I'll let you take control. And then my guy kind of walks behind the rock and decides to relieve himself after the long days of travel.
How well do you know this area, Ingvar?
Well,
Would it be-
Bell and
would it-
myself, we've been traveling this route probably the last 30 seasons or so pretty well.
Our horses are exhausted because of the journey that we've been in. Is there a
Actually,
place
how long have you
around
been
here?
traveling?
The whole day actually, but it's been quite
Yeah, I mean, if you
an
came
exhaustive journey today. So
from up north, you probably went through some of the hardest part of the storm. So I'd imagine that your horses, yeah, they look pretty tired. You probably shouldn't go much further today.
we're trying to find a place where we could rest. If you know something or somewhere around these areas where we could camp.
Honestly, it's kind of a miracle that we even encountered each other. You're sort of in the middle of a vast flat land of nothing. For about a day and a half journey in any direction, you're not really going to run into any kind of civilization. I mean, at any point, there's some traveling merchants or caravans and stuff that might be on a main road or following this ravine is one of the many paths that we use through the Brownlands. But no, you're about equidistant from civilization in any direction except north. So fortunately, I mean, you're welcome to stay here. We found this boulder over here. It seemed like a nice place to set up for the rest of our day as well. We've been traveling since first light.
Interesting. By this point, have Torin and Eldakar joined us?
Yeah, they joined you pretty quickly, I would say.
Well, I would say that there's no problem for us to stay here and just talk about some stories while the horses rest.
All right.
You promised
So-
me to impose or eat your stew. And I just glare at
Oh,
no,
I mean, but we do want to eat the stew, though.
That's all right. Like I said, we've had our fill. There's a little bit left over, and we can get a second fire going. As long as you guys have the utensils, we can supply some of the food. We've been very fortunate in our hunting over the last few weeks, so we can definitely accommodate all of you. We just don't, like I said, we just don't have the pot and the other materials because those things are heavy, and there's just two of us.
That's very kind of you.
Of course, not a problem. Odell, why don't you help him out with getting that thing situated? And I was like, all right. So hi, I'm Odell. Just here to help Ingvar with whatever it is that he needs. We had a wonderful trip off to Lorien, but what can I help you with cooking? I've got some skills with cooking, and would be happy to whip something up for you. Who's got the supplies? Who am I talking with?
Well, Haley is our master cook, so it should be her that you will be speaking with.
Haley. Nice to meet you, Haley. I'm Odell.
Nice to meet you, Odell. Have you ever had food from the Shire?
Oh, from the Shire? I can't say that I have. I've never actually been west of the Misties. I've just,
wow.
Lorien's as far as I've been before, so.
Well, I mean, I'm a rare hobbit. We don't travel very much either.
Oh, yeah, I've never actually seen one before. I just didn't want to say anything. I'm sure you've had a lot.
At least you didn't call me a kid.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you don't actually look like a child. You're just short.
Thanks. So I don't have like anything like fancier than like rations, but I can show you a few things that a few recipes I've learned. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool.
All right. So
okay.
I'm gonna go off and.
Yeah, and so the two of you, you set up another fire, get a pot set up, and you guys spend some time preparing some food for the rest of the party.
You said that the storm was dwindling down and it wasn't as strong. How far can we see from our rear?
It depends on the direction. So if you're looking off to the north, you basically can see about 100 yards before it starts getting foggier and mistier with the snow that's been pouring down for a while now. Off to the west, you're basically looking and you see the it's cloudy as far as the eye can see, but the actual air itself is relatively clear. Most of the storm doesn't stretch to the west. But to the north and to the east, the storm is still pretty significant. From where you are looking south, it's a mix. So it's not too bad, but there could be patches where it's still coming down kind of hard. It just depends on what direction you're looking. But to the south, you can't yet make out the foothills of the Emmenmuil. You'll probably encounter those early the next day, at which point it would still be about another day before you get closer to Emmen Arnen, at which point that is actually going to flank Minas Tirith and Osgiliath, which is like a port city. You're also going to be really close to Mordor itself. So probably, as you guys are planning and thinking about, and Torin, you would be sharing some of this information about the treacherous nature of the lands you guys are going to be going through. You're actually, once you pass the Emmenmuil, you're going to have to make a choice if you're going to be going to the western side, which when you're going south would be to the right of the Emmenmuil. You'll be passing through a river that's very long, or if you go to the east, you're going to pass through the Dead Marshes, which is a very treacherous land. You guys will have to decide at some point tomorrow afternoon, if you haven't before then, which one of those two routes that you're going to take. Going through the Dead Marshes will get you to your destination faster. Going around Emmenmuil will probably add a day or so to your journey. It could be less treacherous, but you'll have to deal with a river instead of vast swampland. Either way, you're going to be skirting really close to Mordor by the time you get to Emmen Arnen. So you'll probably not want to be going at the fast pace you were today. A couple days from now, you'll probably want to be going as stealthy as you can, which is more than you asked for, but I'm feeling generous.
Hell, you're muted.
I want to rest next to Alagos and pamper her.
Okay. Make an animal handling check.
I'm not, okay, fine.
Hey, if it turns out very well, you might actually help her out.
So when the dot is on the curves, I'm gonna go with that's 12.
A 12? Okay.
12.
Noted.
Noted.
Torn thanks Invar and Odell for their hospitality, and then he asked the group, so are we planning to stay here for the night, or are we going to try to keep moving on? Just trying to plan.
I think that we should rest a little bit here. It's necessary for the horses to rest, and I believe that some of us could use that too.
Haley takes a deep sip of her coffee.
And I'm like, well, I'll say we could just do a short rest if you want to get back on the road before it's dark. It ain't that late.
Ingvar kind of pipes up. I don't mean to impose my opinions. You guys definitely welcome to do whatever it is that you think is best, but I've spent some time in Rohan. I know a weary horse when I see one, and if it were up to me, I would want those horses probably to take it easy for the rest of the day. So I mean, you guys are more than welcome to stay with us. We were planning on making our camp here for the night, weather out the last bit of this storm. You can count us as your allies for the evening if that's amenable to you, and if not, of course, you're welcome to be on your way after the meal. But just figured I would let you know you're not imposing. Maybe decide to stay for the night.
All right. I want to make an insight check on what I just heard.
Okay.
See if it's true.
Sure.
I'm gonna believe that it's true.
Hard to read.
He's just not even gonna tell us what he rolled. He's just like, I fully trust him 100% forever.
100% forever.
My guy's down to stay for the night. My guy's gonna he's gonna make sure that he checks out his horse, because I imagine it was the one that was originally carrying like the cart and whatever, and he'll make sure that there's no bloody areas on the hooves or anything like that. Just kind of give it like a generic kind of like a look over and pat down and just making sure. Right. And then also give it some of its stew. He'll be glad to share some of the stew with it. So
yeah.
Add share food? Why not?
Ingvar kind of nudges Odell and goes, help him out, look after their horses for him. Like, yeah, okay. So Nebuchadnezzar, right? That's your name, Mr. Dorkster?
Boy.
He also goes by Nappy, Torn says.
Oh, don't go by Nappy.
Nappy?
Don't go by Nappy.
Not Nappy, okay. I'm Odell. Is your horse injured in any way? Are there any scrapes or anything?
Oh, so just check the horse.
Okay. I can do that. All right, give me a second.
Make sure that you give it a little brush too. Make sure you and really get deep in there.
I'm not really good with the grooming thing. It's more that I can.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm not going to brush your horse, Nebuchadnezzar. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna see if there's any wounds or anything I can take care of. That's my skill set, and I don't want you to be mad at me if I do something wrong because I don't know what I'm doing.
So my guy kind of walks and just puts his hand around the guy's side and kind of whispers, "Hey, buddy, I really want you to brush that horse." Intimidation check.
All right, right now.
All right.
I got a 15.
15. I can do you have a brush? I don't have a brush. But I can brush him if you have a brush.
I'll go, someone get this man a brush. I'll go, you're gonna do great there, bud.
I throw a brush at Nebuchadnezzar's head.
Okay. Want to do a dexterity saving throw to see if I can catch that bad
So
boy.
I have to roll the
Got an
All right, so 18. All right, so go ahead and make an attack roll. See if you roll over an 18.
I do not.
All right, you catch it.
And I look back at her, and then I give it to him. I'll go, you're gonna do a great job, right? And I give him a little shoulder squeeze, and then I sit back and eat my stew.
Yeah.
Okay. At a point of shadow. At a point.
He kind of looks over towards you, Torin, and looks back at Nebuchadnezzar. And he's like,
I'm new here. I guess.
I go, I'm not hearing that horse being brushed.
And he takes care of Nebuchadnezzar's horse over the
Hey,
next
man,
bit.
fantastic guy. Good lad. Good on him. As I finish off the rest of their stew and their pot.
Torn's gonna look after Wolf, make sure he is okay, give him a little food, kind of pet him, give him an attaboy, eat a little food himself. And then if we're gonna be here for the rest of the night, Torn asks if he can maybe turn in early, because he wants to get some good rest. He can take one of the later watches because he wants to get up early and like look for some herbs and then make some more potions for the next day.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get what the order of the watch is going to be, so I can write it down. So do you just
I
want
wanna
to call
take
that
watch with
third
Nebuchadnezzar.
watch, Derek?
I'm sorry, what's that?
You want to call that like last watch, like third watch?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to take the watch in like the middle of the night when like the threat level is like the highest, because I'm still rested, so I'm the one that's most rested here.
Sure.
So, yeah.
All right. So we have a first watch, a second watch, and a third watch. So far we've got Torin on third and Nebuchadnezzar on second. Haley?
I want to take watch with Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay.
My guy has a bad feeling he's about to get told some stuff. I want to make sure I'm on like one side of the boulders, the other. Just slowly inch my way over. Take my stew with me, walk over to my little corner.
Ingvar goes, I've had a pretty restful day. I'm not feeling too exhausted, so I'll stay up first if anyone wants to keep watch with myself. Anyone?
Well,
Okay.
wasn't it like 3 in the afternoon?
Yeah, but I imagine you guys are spending just some time. We're basically fast forwarding through the rest of the afternoon as you guys are grooming your horses and eating and chatting and stuff.
All right, sounds
Unless there's
good.
something you wanted to do.
I'll stay up the first one then with him.
Okay.
And at this point, I think my guy's probably examined the side of his hair. So now he knows. But honestly, he took some time to think about it. I was like, I like this style. And then he points at a little like Edward Hell Heart Nebuchadnezzar scarf. And he's all, hey, I knew I could count on you to watch my back.
Okay.
Which means that you'll always trust me going forward into whatever plans we got. Thank you so much.
Not what it means.
That's exactly what it means. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Haley, I'm counting on you.
Is anyone Eldikar, did you want to watch with Torin third watch? Not hear you. Okay. Yes. All right.
Before we go to before Torn turns in, I want to grab the poison sacks from Edrahel, and
Okay.
then I will tell Adakar that maybe when we get up in the morning we can kind of work together to look for some herbs, use the red mace and poison sacks to get ready for the next day.
All right, then I give him the 3 portions of red mace and the 4 venom sacks.
All right. So go ahead and mark that down and take that out of your inventory, Eldikar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The rest of your afternoon passes by without incident. Let's see. Someone make an animal handling check, just as you care for the horses. We'll say the rest of the group is probably helping out, so one person roll with advantage, and this will be for everything. Whoever's going to do that.
I said Chad since he's the only one that's not exhausted.
Oh,
So
wow.
that he actually
You
rolls.
want
with
me to be the handler? Okay, whatever you say, bud. I
Well,
actually am
okay,
proficient in it. I actually am a proficient in it, so.
Yeah, and you do have advantage.
Oh, good. Thank you. All right. Nat 2020.
All right.
So I go over there and I make sure that those animals are handled.
And they are. You actually notice that Odell had spent some time with each of the horses and was able to tend, especially to the muscles that they had been overusing throughout the day, leading to their exhaustion, and was able to remove a point of exhaustion from each of the horses in advance of the long rest. So those of you who are tracking points of exhaustion on your horses, they have one less. After the long rest, they'll have an additional point off. So it's like an extra point of exhaustion removed.
So what I do with Odell is I give him 3 silver coins.
Oh wow! Thank you. That's very generous of you, sir.
I say, yeah, you don't mention it. You just did a great job out there. Just know that the Silver Dunes, they always give a good price.
Yes,
and
sir.
I chalk him 1 more coin, so now he has a 4th one. There we go. Just giving our coin there.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Anytime you're ever up in the Dale, just come look for our shop. Okay.
What's the name of the shop?
Oh, the Mithril Hammer.
Oh, I like it. Thank you, buddy. And then
thank
I
you.
rest.
You get over there, Derek.
I'm good. I'm dead. I'm good.
I just like to keep you guys on your toes a little bit, you know.
You don't know. Sometimes he's going to abuse my characters, and then he'll pay them afterwards.
First they're sweet. First they're sour. Then they're sweet. My character's based off
the
Sour
resident
Patch
party
Kid.
now and later.
I am the resident party Sour Patch Kid.
I like it. All right, so the rest of the afternoon passes, and you guys bed down for the night. Ingvar and Edrahel, go ahead. Both of you make a perception check. I will obviously roll for Ingvar.
Oh, with disadvantage, right? Since I haven't rested.
By the way, that is my 4th natural 20 of the session, and I think I've only rolled 6 times.
Wow.
All right.
This is all my luck for the year.
Oh.
And I'm not even attacking you guys. Come on.
Yes, we use it all
Come on,
now.
man.
18 for me.
18, not bad. You guys spend the next couple hours of the watch only talking if you instigate it. Ingvar is rather quiet and keeping to himself, but just keeping a close eye out on the wilderness. Eventually, the snow does completely stop in the middle of the first watch. It's still freezing cold outside. You can still see your breath in the firelight, but a couple hours pass and you pass it without incident, and you're able to wake up Nebuchadnezzar and Haley for their watch.
Is it actually? I did have a question for him, but it's more like for later on about like, hey, where can we hunt so that whenever we get to hunt and whenever we start getting food again, since we're gonna need it for the trip, then we go to the actual places, and it's gonna be easier for us to find it.
Sure. Once you get closer to Emin Muil, in the foothills, you're gonna have to be careful because that is where you're gonna find more of the rodents and plain type animals you're gonna be able to eat. Small coyotes, badgers, beavers, squirrels. Beavers are gonna be closer to the river on the western side of Emin Muil, but of course, that also means that because that's where those kinds of creatures are, that's also where the predators are. There's not a lot of wargs there, but there are some. So if you're over there in their hunting grounds looking for food of your own, then you might have to contend with a pack of wargs, and all those things are pretty nasty. Looking at your party, I'm sure you can handle it, but that's just a fair warning to you. So I would say that the best place for you to hunt for food is also going to make you some enemies, but as long as you know that going into it, you can prepare for it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. You guys spend the last of your watch together, and then you wake up Nebuchadnezzar and Haley.
Wherever Nebuchadnezzar decides to sit and keep his post, I walk over and I just sit down quietly next to him, and I'm just staring off into the distance.
Nice ride today. Oh, okay. Nice ride today.
Think that was nice?
I mean, I was just making small talk. I don't really think it was,
What
it
do you
was
mean
not
by
nice.
small talk? No, okay.
Hey, I want to talk, all right?
I don't actually say that, but
What do you mean?
I just kind of nod. You want a cookie?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Remember when I give these to you in the Merklet?
I remember, yep. I remember we were out there, seems like forever ago.
Yeah.
It was
But-
like a week ago or something.
It always seems that they'll give you a cookie when you get really worked up. You know? That seems to happen often, huh?
Oh, yeah. Just sometimes when you just got so much testosterone.
That's what it is?
I guess so. I don't, there's a time. Well, let me tell you a little something, Haley. I'm under no illusions I'm going to make it back home alive. And I think it's flat out for everyone to kind of know that in the kindest way possible. I don't plan to run against this shadow thing and go home and have little Chads run around at home. That's not my life. That's not what I'm going to be. Love, I gave up on that a long time ago. So I know we like to sneak around. We like to play all cautiousness. But I'll tell you something. If it ain't my time to go, it ain't my time to go. Come hell or come high water, we will stand it. But when it's time for me to lay to rest, I just hope I'll go out not trying to tiptoe my way through life, but I hope to go out screaming like a bull in heat or something that's not as cool as I thought it was. And I'm sure bulls have, like, a dwarf in heat.
Haley, Haley just kind of puts her hand up. It's okay. I get you.
Sometimes words don't write with me.
It's all right. I don't think it's any secret that you throw caution to the wind, and that you're not afraid to die, but have you ever considered that you're not alone anymore? There are people in this group that do plan on making it home, that do have family back home that they're trying to get back to. And you're putting them at risk whenever you jump into the fray like that. It's no longer just you.
I'll say, and I think you make a pretty good point about it. But I just think it's good for us to know that, when push comes to shove, we all need to be ready to make the hard choice.
And I think
we all
we
need
are.
to be willing.
But we don't want to expedite making that hard choice.
He goes, well, Haley, I think you opened my eyes up to some things. When I told you my story about traveling and all them visions and whatnot, I didn't really tell you how that was years ago, a good many years ago. I've gone through many groups and many parties, and none of them have lived to tell the tale. For a long time, it's just been me. It really has been for me. And those come and go, and I usually don't tell them these tales or whatever. People get these big dreams that one day we'll fight the shadow and win. I don't think we really can win, Haley. I think all we do is push it back enough for those who come after us to push it back even further. And perhaps, who knows, maybe in the elf's lifetime, they may see some real change. They may see some real hope. But until then, it's just like today. We run head first into the storm. We push as hard as we can. And rise or fall, well, that's not really in our hands, at least not how I see it. Now, what I will do is give you me word on this thing. You guys want to play it a little extra safe? Fine, I'll play it safe with y'all. Just because I feel like you may last more than a week. But there is a time when we got to stand up and we got to push in. And I will say this. You're a lot more skilled than you think you are. Not every battle needs to be the most intricately planned thingy-mabob. Sometimes when you know your stuff and you know you're good, you can jump right in there. Because you know at the end of it, you're going to come out on top.
I think there's wisdom in that. And it is easy to kind of overthink things. But, I mean, we all have different skills for a reason. And not every situation calls for, you know, fighting or standing up to what's in front of us. I mean, it's like I was talking about earlier. Like the story that inspired me to leave the Shire, despite my family saying I was crazy, was, you know, Bilbo and Oakenshield, and that whole group of dwarves who went and trying to save their home from smog. I mean, some parts of those, yeah, it was war, it was fighting, it was running into the fray, and then some parts were, you know, a little inexperienced hobbit going and sneaking by a dragon.
I'll say, how about this, Haley? How about, because we can chit-chat, but how about I'll make a little deal with you? I'll slow things down if you guys promise to speed things up a little bit. This way we both win. So don't be cautious of every battle. We saw a little fire. Let's just say we ground that corner today. There was 4 orcs there. Are you under any impression that we could have lost that fight? I'm not. I think that we could have taken them so easily after the things that we fought through. So all I'll say is sure. I'll slow things down. I'll give you me word. But don't be so scared of these fights. They're going to come. Now, we will know that if we stand before our own smog, yeah, you can sneak around there. Of course we'll sneak around there. I'm not going to get us all killed. But most fights aren't smog. Most fights are just a few little grunts running through the woods. We smash them, we bash them, and we move on to the next.
That's true. And I think, you know, if I had called out and warned the people behind the boulder and it had been orcs, I would have regretted it. But, you know, it's kind of like Maglo was saying, that not everyone you encounter is out to get you. And then the next person we met was Eldakar, and he's been great. So I don't think we're going to know what to do until we're in each situation. But I promise to not be so cautious as long as you promise not to be so yourself. I mean, you know what I mean. I was just couldn't find the right word
I
for
take
it.
that as a compliment.
Okay.
Okay.
And I stick my hand out, and I grimace for a second as I spit in my hand.
Okay, that's a little gross, but I'll do it too.
Slam our hands together.
You're just like the.
Here I was thinking that he'd appreciate this, and then shake on it.
And I'll say, all right. And the last thing that I'll say to you is this. You know.
Really? The last
You
one?
are skilled. You're skilled. Do not forget that we have an all-star team here. Don't be so scared.
Yeah, I don't. I know it can seem like I'm just the cook currently.
I prefer the word chef.
Chef.
It sounds better.
5-star chef. Michelin star chef. Whatever that is. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised once we start I don't know, getting into some cities. I mean, you've seen I can use a bow, but I'm aware that I can do more than just cook. But thanks.
Cool. And then,
Let's go wake up the guys.
All right.
And I take a
Guys.
handkerchief.
and I'm just like, ugh. I'm like rubbing on the grass. I'm like, oh, jeez.
I failed that lore check.
Who is up for the next watch?
As you guys,
Who's up for-
you guys wake up Torn and Eldikar.
So with
as-
Eldikar with my spit covered hand, I kind of rub his shoulder, wake him up. Wake up, Eldikar! Give him a little pat on the face. Wake up, Eldikar!
and you awaken quite quickly to Nebuchadnezzar shocking you awake. You and Torin prepare for your night's watch. As you do, Haley and Nebuchadnezzar, you lay down, go to sleep for the night. Nebuchadnezzar, as sleep takes you, the previous night was a good night's sleep as you laid outside of the Mirkwood. Tonight, you close your eyes and there's the gentle howling of the wind in the distance. And eventually that howling changes to the sound of a tide coming in and then rolling back out. The sound of an ocean, waves lapping against the shore. And then eventually that fades away to the ting, ting sound of a hammer at a forge, a very familiar sound to you. And then the sound of stone grinding against metal. And then eventually that fades away to wind rustling through trees. And you've never been to the woodland realm of Lorien, but you've heard tales of it. And suddenly your vision goes from darkness with all of these sounds around you to standing at the foot of a tree that is impossibly tall. And standing in front of you, this young elven woman. And you're standing there and you try to say something, but no sound comes out of your mouth as you're speaking. And she's standing in front of you, fair-skinned, long, platinum white hair reaching down to her waist. She's wearing a beautiful blue gown with sleeves, and it has a trail that stretches about 1.5 feet behind her onto the ground. And she looks at you and she says, Nebuchadnezzar. She smiles. Bruised. You feel these goosebumps go up the back of your neck. Break. Destroy. Save. Protect. Endure. And suddenly your vision goes black. As you feel yourself being pulled back, you hear the rushing of wind against the trees, and then suddenly you hear that same tinging of the hammer and the grinding of metal against stone, and then suddenly you're back listening to waves lapping up against a shore, and then suddenly there's the howling of wind, and you wake up and night is gone and it's light once again, and all the rest of your friends are putting away camp, preparing for the morning. That's where we're going to end today's session.